What's going on, fight fans? This is Capital Combat. I'm Rob Jarrell, and I'm just really coming on here to do my reaction to the signing of Triple G, Gennady Golovkin versus Kell Special K Brook. Now, we heard it a few days ago. Um, I wasn't going to say anything, and then I keep hearing a bunch of nonsense spewed by a lot of people. Me and Hakeem are extremely objective. Now, it's Saturday night. I'm not watching the UFC fight right now, but Hakeem is. So he should be doing a live broadcast, comments, and interaction with everyone. So definitely check that out. And I will be doing a preview to the Kovalev Chilimba fight. That should be up tomorrow. So definitely check that out. And this is going to be the road to Kovalev versus Ward. So aside from that, I just want to bring this quick counter to you. Now, we know not too long ago we got Canelo versus Amir Khan. Not a big fight that I really was a fan of, but I kind of gave kudos to Amir Khan because he was stepping up two weight classes. We know the fight was at 155 versus a guy like Canelo Alvarez, who is one of the best 154 pounders. I don't want to say 160, even though he is campaigning at middleweight. I can't really say 160 because we all know it's not really 160. Sorry for all the movement. So now what do we get? We get Triple G versus Special K. And at first glance, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, we got a 147 pounder that's probably trying to outdo his countryman who went up and did fairly well for the first half of the fight. Okay. And then got knocked out in the sixth round. Not too unexpected. So we got another guy who wants to fight Canelo, Triple G, fighting a welterweight from the same country. If the boxing gods were like this at all, we would have gotten Kell Brook versus Amir Khan and Triple G versus Canelo Alvarez. I mean, we're already getting Ward versus Kovalev later on this year, so why can't we get those two fights? I don't know, but at first I was like, this is what we getting. We get another welterweight fighting a middleweight. Not that bad of a fight. The only thing is, we know Canelo can knock people out, but with Amir Khan's about 5'9", 71-inch reach, long arms, blazing speed, and you can see that in the fight. Kell Brook is slightly bigger but shorter arms than Amir Khan, but he has a more dense and more muscular body than Amir Khan. But so he could fight at 154 if he wanted to, I think. But with Amir Khan, he only had to go to 155. I'm pretty sure this fight with Triple G is going to take place at the full middleweight limit of 160. Golovkin is a hair taller. I think Kell Brook's about 5'9". Golovkin is about 5'10 and a half, 5'11. Similar reach. But the thing about it is, and again, Kell Brook is taking a big step up. Like I said, some of these Brits got balls on them. Unfortunately, Billy Joe Saunders is not one of them because he should have been fought Gennady Golovkin. And we know Canelo should be fighting Golovkin. They said that fight is ready for next year. Whatever. Not a terrible fight, but I would have liked to see Golovkin versus Eubank. I think while I think Kell Brook is better technical wise, I think Eubank could definitely give Golovkin a better challenge just because of his size, reach, and athletic ability. Kell Brook is athletic, but he doesn't have that speed, and I don't think he has the punching power. Not the strength. He has good physical strength, as you saw versus Sean Porter. But there was a fight, and I can't think of my man's name, um, that he fought where he had to fight him twice. And if you give me a second, I will look it up. I know I'm kind of moving around my apartment with poor lighting, but I will come to the computer and look up Kell Brook's record, and it just got dark, so bear with me. I have poor lighting in my house when it's not daytime. So let us look up. And I've watched both those fights. I'm just terrible at names, so I'm not just trying to be a keyboard warrior and looking up box rec and everything. I will actually watch both of those fights. And we know that Kell Brook struggled in that fight versus journeyman, gatekeeper, however you want to say it, Carson Jones. He got a majority decision. No, it was a majority draw the first time. Then he TKO'd Carson Jones. And Carson Jones gave him hell. Even hurt him a couple times. And, you know, he TKO'd Bizier. He TKO'd Frankie Gavin. Two smaller guys. JoJo Dan, he retired. Whatever. If physical strength, we know he has it because of he did what he had to do versus Sean Porter. But he's not fighting Sean Porter, who's probably one of the strongest pound for pound fighters. Not most powerful, but strongest pound for pound strength wise. And was able to muscle them several times in the fight. But he's fighting Triple G Golovkin, who again is one of the strongest, most solid, most powerful, and technically best fighter, period. Technique-wise. He cuts off the ring. He uses a great jab, sets up his opponents, uses feints. Defense, he's probably better at than he gives himself credit for, but and he has a chin. He'll walk through your punches. And he's doing that with middleweights. What you gonna think he's gonna do to Kell Brook? Kell Brook better know how to stay out of harm's way in that fight. Kell Brook's taking a chance, but I would have liked to see it better. Now, Hearn and K2, from the problems that we had, Chris Eubank and his father wanted to control the whole card. Now, if they're not going to make that fight, and if those rumors are true with Chris Eubank and his father, Chris Eubank Jr. and his father, Chris Eubank, trying to control the whole card and operational, and look it up on Boxing Scene, Boxing News, whatever you want to see, it is what it is. If any of that's true, I don't blame Hearn and I don't blame K2. We want to make a good fight. No fighter should have that much power to do it unless they're promoting themselves and they're putting together the fights. And we know only one fighter who's going to do that, and he's retired. But again, I would have preferred Chris Eubank Jr., Saunders, Jacobs, any full-fledged middleweight instead of a welterweight who can fight at light middleweight, moving up to middleweight. But really? That's what we're getting? And you know what? It might turn out to be a good fight because Kell is riding high. He fights well. He's technically sound. Not really overly fast, but we know he has a great jab. It's just that you want to see more from Triple G, and you know Kell Brook has better challenges at 147 to make more competitive fights. And for whatever reason, these two guys are unable to make fights. We know Golovkin is the boogeyman, and Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn just can't make fights with any of the top welterweights right now. I mean, I want to see him versus Thurman. I want to see him versus Spence. I want to see him versus Porter again. I want to see him versus whoever it is at welterweight. This isn't a Flomo thing. I'm not making fun of. I'm not even going to go into, because some people have pulled up why if Golovkin could fight Brook, why couldn't he fight Andre Ward? Isn't that kind of hypocritical? I'm not going to that. That's just dumb. I'd rather for Triple G to stay right where he is because they're still credible opponents at middleweight, dominate that division, then move up. Y'all need to just stop. Let Andre Ward be Andre Ward, fight Kovalev at light heavyweight. That's what they're doing now. Let Golovkin make his own choices. If he wants to move down to fight at 154, fine. If he wants to go to 168, fine. There's some fights I would like to see him, but if he chooses not to and he's trying to take on all challenges in middleweight, fine. Deal with it. I'm not trying to call anyone a hypocrite. I'm not trying to call anyone a cherry pick. That's not what we do. Because guess what? At the end of the day, you need to respect any man that steps in that ring, no matter who they are, unless they just there through the fight or they're just foul-filled and don't give a damn about the sport. But respect them. There are better fights out there, but this is what we're getting, and it might be a good fight. Remains to be seen. You might see Kell Brook at the weigh-in and be like, hey, that guy looks like he might do something. But we all know this Golovkin, who we know what he can do. And I think he fights more frequently than Brook to where it makes him dangerous. And again, be objective with this thing. Don't get emotional. Don't respond emotional. Like I said, I've seen several YouTube pages and posts. Whatever. It's signed. Watch it if you want to. If you root for the guys who you want to, but don't say it's. I would prefer to see Golovkin fight a middleweight, and I would prefer Kell Brook to fight a welterweight. Now, one is taking a bigger risk than the other, and we know who that is. But you have to take the fights that's given to him. I'm pretty sure Triple G has to take what's given to him by his promoter and his advisor. Once it comes up, it's on September 10th. We'll bring a preview of what we think will happen. I think you know what we think will happen, but we'll bring a preview. I'm not getting emotional. I'm going to be objective. These are two top, at least 15 pound for pound fighters. We don't get that often enough to really complain, so let's just deal with it. If you got anything to say, be respectful. We will answer. We might learn something. Please don't bring anything flow-mo, packed hard. Keep it respectful. Not to just me and Hakeem, but to the fighters and other people on our page. Thank you. And until next time, guys, peace.